So thank you for making the time. As you can see, we're in a warm climate, everyone. We're both in Abu Dhabi, enjoying your UFC 294 fight week. Dean, do you want to quickly tell the fans kind of what you're doing at home exactly?
Yeah, so I'm out here with the young prospect Muhammad Mokaev. Well, he's more than a prospect now, isn't he?
100%.
He's taking on number 10 ranked Tim Elliott this weekend. Biggest fight of his career. One of the best fights that he's had so far in his career stylistically, I think. And coming back from that crazy knee bar that everyone's seen, bro, I'm telling you now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I tap to that knee bar every time. You do that to my leg, I'm giving up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this kid is truly special, and I don't think there's another fighter in the UFC who doesn't tap to that knee bar.
I remember seeing it live. I was there in the arena,
like
and just wincing. I was just like, whoa!
And then what happened after it? What happened after it?
He just
got up and just choked them out, and then couldn't even walk after it. But so honestly, I met the kid at 15,
amazing.
And I knew straight away that he was special, and he is special. And I feel like I finished this weekend, set him up for a big fight, maybe a title eliminator before the year's out.
Fantastic.
And you've got 3 big shows in March. Saudi, he's got a big fan base over this way.
Amazing.
UFC London, obviously got a big fan base there, or UFC 300. So with a bit of luck, if he can get 2 good performances in, the UFC will have no choice but to give him his chance of being the youngest ever UFC champion.
Honestly, I think the crowd here is going to be louder than the crowd here in London, to be honest.
I think so too.
He's going to tear the roof off in terms of just when he walks in. So it's going to be a special moment for him. You know, amazing.
Beautiful job by Mokaev. Wow! Muhammad Mokaev, still undefeated, submits Tim Elliott to rise to the top 10.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times.
On the fence. I'm on the fence.
We don't need
We would.
left hook from Yaoundé came and landed on him, you know, so...
Dean's not just a coach, by the way, of Mo. He's a trained assassin and athlete in his own right, with a decent, fantastic record actually of 11-2-1. Is that correct?
That's correct.
5 wins by way of submission and 3 KOs, so a total mixed martial artist. You're not just relying on the KO or the subs. But I love to ask, kind of, what's your preference, submission or KO?
I don't have one anymore, bro. I spent a lot of my early career as someone who probably was more of someone who wanted to take you down and whatever else. But I think now I truly am well-rounded. I can knock people out. I've got different types of striking. You know, I've got a spinning back KO. Got a flying knee KO in a hybrid MMA tournament that I've done as well. It's not on my record. Got 3 finishes on there. I've had 4 professional heel hooks. So I'm always evolving. And yeah, I think I'm a well-rounded fighter. I think I could easily hang on the UFC. And who knows, maybe I'll get a call next year. I've got a fight booked that you can't announce just yet. It's getting announced next week, but I'm fighting 8 weeks tomorrow.
Okay, not going to give us the exclusive.
In the Middle East. In the Middle East. It's a very good opponent, very tough fight.
Yeah.
Probably tougher than the last 2, but again, I'm looking at it, feeling the same as I did with the last 2. Like, that's going to be me. It's either going to be a really dominant decision, but I do think I can finish this guy. He hasn't been finished much. In fact, he's only ever been finished once in 17 pro fights, and he's only lost 3. So it's a tough fight on paper, but I'm at a really good level at the minute. I'm enjoying my training, so I'm a dangerous guy right now.
There's a few noises I heard about you potentially, if there'd been any pullouts on this card, that you were in fighting fit shape and potentially could have filled in a slot potentially.
Well, I was absolutely serious about that. There was a pullout for Nathaniel Wood in UFC London. I love Nathaniel, by the way. He's a great guy.
I think I've seen him. He's here as well,
he's fighting, isn't he? Yeah. So he's here. Yeah. Actually trained with Nathaniel quite a few times before he was meant to fight Nurmagomedov. Me and Mo went down and did some sparring. Yeah. So he's a guy I know well, trained with him a lot, I know how good he is. Yeah. He had a pull-out. I just went and found him and said, bro, I'm here. I literally told him what I weighed. I said, I can make 64 tomorrow for you. Yeah. You can fight. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have any medicals. I didn't have any recent fights on my record, so it was never going to happen. Probably it was that late in the day. It was like, you know, it was Thursday night. So that time I weren't ready. I was hoping this time something might happen to somebody, a bantamweight or featherweight, and my medicals have been sent to Sean Shelby. The UFC did offer me a contract back in 2019 twice when I was signed to ACB, so I've been on the radar before, but we let Sean Shelby know we were here, we were active, we could make a catch weight of 64 or higher. So I've been having my fingers crossed all week, but you know what, it hasn't come off, and that's absolutely fine. My time's going to come, and if it doesn't come with the UFC, that's not a problem for me.
It's not the be all end all for sure. And you're also co-owner, obviously, and head coach of Aspire. So awesome. And also, so rude of me, congrats obviously on your recent win at the Hexagone MMA. You're the new featherweight world champion.
Featherweight champion on Hexagone. No disrespect to Hexagone MMA or my opponent, but to me that's like a European title.
Yeah.
I don't feel like a world champion. I don't like throwing that word about easily.
Yeah.
To be a world champion, you've got to be world level fighters. So yeah, but I am the featherweight world champion of Hexagone.
Yeah.
My next fight isn't with Hexagone, but I would be interested in defending my belt with them next year.
Brilliant.
Back at featherweight or bantamweight.
Yeah.
I did really want to fight Anthony Deasy because I think he's a really, really strong wrestler. The last two guys I've fought have wanted to strike with me and I've knocked them out. So I was hoping to get a fight like Anthony Deasy. But to be honest, bro, tough fights only for me now, and hopefully, get a big win the end of this year, and who knows what's going to be on the table for me in 2024.
That's what we love to hear. And I heard and saw that the arena was the arena you fought in and won the title was impressive. It was like a lot of history in Béziers, France, built in 1897.
Yeah, bro.
How did you feel fighting in such an arena? I'm sure it was giving you gladiator vibes.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it felt like. It was a strange feeling fighting outside as well. It was nice, but on the day, there was like dust blowing everywhere, and I was starting to go, is that going to blow my eyes when I'm fighting? But you know what, it all worked out perfectly. The fight got rescheduled as well, which was a big headache for me, to be honest. Had it not been rescheduled, got pushed back 9 weeks. I think I'd have had another fight already by now, to be honest. I'm looking to stay active. I'm 36. I ain't no spring chicken, but I've got a lot of wisdom, and I understand every single facet of this game: nutrition, strength conditioning, and everything I've built at Aspire now can save me. Like when I was last fighting bantamweight, fighting guys like Magomedov in Chechnya, I was running a BTEC program at my gym, delivering the qualification, recruiting for it, running a big gym with a big fight team. And I just think now the gym's come so far. I've got a really, great business partner and coach in Phil Turner. So shout out to him. Other guys at the gym like Adam Robinson, Joe Tonks, Ed Bavloch. Got a real good team over there. And even the youngsters like Liam McCracken, Marlon Jones, Paul Liam was hit by a bus.
How's he doing?
Really serious incident. So when he was hit by the bus, everybody in the vicinity thought he was dead. It was reported to 999 that there's a body under the bus.
Wow.
He is so lucky to be alive. So that's been an absolutely huge thing for the team. But Liam is honestly, I'm just going to put it out there. I didn't win a round against that guy for the last 6 months for any of those two fights. I can't think of a time where I actually took a round off him. The guy's 20, 21 or 22. So he's an absolute phenomenal prospect, and I can't wait to have him back in the cage. So
full recovery.
That's going to be
a miracle he's still here.
It's a miracle. Honestly, the injuries he's got are extremely severe. But the fact he hasn't got a spinal cord injury or a brain injury is truly a blessing. So he's going to be back. We know he's going to be back. It's just going to be a long road back for him. But I'm telling you now that guy, that I would have bet my house on it that guy would have been here with the UFC within the next 18 months, I believe. I really do believe it. So it's going to come for him.
And hopefully it's just a chapter in his story.
I think so. It's
it'll
just
make
gonna
it an even more incredible story once he does make that the pinnacle. Amazing. And obviously facing Lucas Coborge was a tough fight. He's 11-1 and he's fought at lightweight. What were your thoughts on him as a fighter?
I'll be honest, I actually thought like his best chance was to submit me. He caught. I seen a fight where he won a good title in Peru against a good opponent, really good. And to be honest, he got absolutely beat up for like 4 minutes. And I was looking at going, wow, this guy's got heart. He's not going to give up easy, because he didn't give up in this fight. Somehow he ended up on the guy's back and choked him. with a bulldog choke as he slipped off the back. So I was like, right, I've got to be very careful with this guy. He's obviously a bit of a slippery customer. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He's Brazilian. But then the next day I spoke to him, and the game plan was not to take me down. The game plan was for me to get tired and put the pressure on me on the feet. But you know, I've evolved since those previous fights, and they probably didn't really respect the knockout I got over Miguel Harrow. Maybe Miguel Harrow being 9-9 to them just thought, no, he's just, you know, that guy's not the best. So, but actually he's a good striker. But anyway, I looked at that and thought, win that fight 10 times out of 10. And the next guy I looked at and go, win that fight 95 times out of 100. So, you know, I'm very confident. I do believe you'd have to stick some of these guys who are in the top of the UFC sort of division, top 15, sniffing around the top 15. That's when I'd be looking at going, do you know what, this is a real tough fight for me. So yeah.
And obviously going back a little bit, your previous outing before your title fight was an incredible 13-second KO of Miguel Harrow. Harrow after 4 years out.
Yeah, to be honest, bro, like with that fight, I actually wanted to get 3 rounds out. That was the plan. I was not gonna like force anything. I'd been out the cage for a long time, and Hexagone actually offered me a title fight off the cuff to fight a guy called Elias Budogan. Real good jiu-jitsu guy off the bottom, good striking as well. And he wanted me to fight 5 rounds, but I'll be honest, bro, I was literally coming off being a coach, and I had 6 weeks to prepare for the fight, 7 weeks. I said I can't do 5 rounds with 6-7 weeks notice. I know I'm not the type of guy who's going to be finished easy, so I wouldn't want to lose a fight just because I haven't had enough time to prepare for the fight ahead. So I knocked the fight back and asked for the same opponent on 3 rounds. And he said, I'll tell you what, we're going to give you Miguel Harrow 3-rounder, and then you get your 5-round fight next. So I was actually thinking, get in there, get some cage time, get comfortable on the feet. I'd been working loads of boxing with Joe Tonks and the other striking coaches, Glenn Blackburn and Ed Bablock. So I was feeling really confident about my stand-up, and I wanted to get a bit more cage time. But I remember I threw a backhand just to disguise a low kick, and I chopped the low kick in hard, and I seen his face change, and I seen he was angry, and he just chased me. And we train on stepping back and landing that right hand a lot with Joe.
Timing,
the Al McGregor little step backhand, and I just clobbered him with that. And I'll be honest, he fell to the ground, and I just thought he'd slipped, and Phil, me head coach, just shouted, he's hit! And I just let a little 3-piece go. And yeah, that was it. It was all she wrote.
But you were a little bit gutted. You were like, oh gosh, I didn't want to get a bit of time.
It was a strange sensation, because it was bittersweet.
Yeah.
I wanted to spend more time in the cage, and I wanted to sort of like have a bit more, because all fighters, the best way to develop your game is by reflection, and there's no better form of reflection than watching yourself compete. That's the ultimate way you can improve from your own perspective. So I wanted that time to watch me fight back. Don't get me wrong, I looked at the Lucas Cabaj fight, and I'm even cringing looking at. Sometimes I lost my shape, I lost my discipline a little bit. So there's even that. I'm looking at that going, I need to level up again. But I think I have again. I've been on the mat, and I'm ready to knock someone else out, or choke someone else out before the year's over, or leg lock somebody else before the year's out. I really want to finish this guy, because he's really tough to finish. And he's got a really legit record. So get this next fight won, and I'm definitely looking at, you know, some of these bigger promotions like PFL or UFC.
No, I can definitely hear and see that the hunger in your eyes. It's like you can't even hide that. That's clear, which is great to see. Obviously, you've had a break in your fight career prior to 2023. How are you managing your busy life now that you're fighting again? That balancing act again?
Like I said, I don't have the same balancing act anymore. We have a lot of staff at the gym, a lot of really good coaches who've come through the BTEC. We've got coaches who've done my 2-year BTEC program that we deliver at the gym. It's all government funded. Some of them have gone on to uni, guys like Joe Gerrard, Dan Farrell, Luke Burns, just to name a few. There's loads, and there's more coming through. So we've built a community. So for me now, I don't have to juggle all these hats anymore. I can really focus on fighting and supporting the competitors in the team. We've got eight guys fighting tomorrow on APFC. A few pro fights on there. I
think Marty's going, so we'll be covering that. Whilst I'm out here sunning myself, he's over in Manchester looking after home base.
So we've got 8 guys fighting on APFC tomorrow. We've got Hayder Khan, who's a great prospect. He's Scott Johnson fighting pro, Jack Axworthy's fighting pro as well. His pro debut is a real big prospect, Jack, as well. So we've got 3 pro fights, 5 amateur fights on there. So, you know, excited to be watching them fights tomorrow once Mokaev's made way. We can all chill a bit then and get excited about what's to come. But I don't really have to juggle the way I used to have to. It's a different scenario for me now, and it's great for me. So, and to be honest, I'd done a fight camp in 2019, November 2019, and I was ready to fight Rani Sada on Brave, and I broke my jaw in a training accident. In three fractures I had in my jaw from a suplex, and it was fight week when I'd done it, so devastating. And I was told to take minimum a year off from fighting and 18 months to be safe. So I took the 18 months off. Still, never not been on the map, bro. It's like I was working on a building site or driving a taxi. Not wrong with them jobs, but it wasn't that I left the sport. I'm on the mat day in, day out, developing. So I took time away from fighting, but I never took time away from MMA. And actually not having fights to allow me to just enjoy my training and grow. And I've learned so much since then. Just how I manage my training, you know what I mean? How I think about myself. So yeah, the time off, maybe it was a blessing. Maybe I'm going to do a bit of a Ricky Lambert, you know, sure Ricky signed for England when he was like 34 or something.
Going way back.
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that.
So I, you know, think that, you know, maybe I can do something like that, and maybe I've got 3 good years fighting in me where I can compete. Bro, look at someone like Francisco Ronaldo. Bro, that guy was cracking skulls in the UFC at 46. And it's not like you go and watch any of my pro fights, or even the 3 fights I had on KT MMA. That was a hybrid MMA Muay Thai tournament. Nobody's ever beat me up. Both guys who guillotined me, I was absolutely kicking their asses. If you watch them fights, I was way ahead on the scorecards. Taking nothing away from them, by the way, I'm just saying. And now the guillotine is something that's in my locker, and it's something I'm never ever getting caught with ever again. I'm telling you that now. So I feel like I'm in a good place for competing. You know, got the team around me. Got a bigger network outside of the UK that I can lean on now. Got many great friends through the likes of Mo. So it's a good time to be alive, bro. I feel 30. Obviously, I'm 36, but I'm feeling 30.
Nice. I might nickname you the tool sharpener, because not only are you sharpening your own tools, but you're sharpening the tools of everyone around you. The tool sharpener, I love it. I love it. Also, congratulations, you've opened a second site on the Wirral for Aspire. What's that focused on specifically? So
with the Wirral site, we've teamed up with Two Brothers Muay Thai. There's a young guy called Joe Ryan who's highly ranked at 19. He's one of the top Muay Thai fighters in the world. Check him out if you don't know who Joe Ryan is. He's a huge star, and I'm hoping we're going to bring him over to MMA at some point. So that's an academy we run in partnership with Two Brothers Muay Thai under Carl Ryan, Joe's dad. And that's really just about branching out. We've got a really successful model over in Liverpool. It's a very unique model, the way we combine education and the way we sort of, you know, we've got a real, it's in sport, we call it a long-term athlete development model. So I've got a degree in coaching development, and I learned a lot of fascinating stuff in my studies. And whether we've got a Ninja Cubs class, starts with 3-year-olds. That's all about fundamental movement skills, fine motor skill development games. It's not about MMA. They don't do being naked jokes. They can't even open their own packets of crisp. They still shout mummy when they need their bum wiping. But yeah, there's guys who'll teach these guys real techniques, and you're asking a goldfish to climb a tree. So we really understand the sport development continuum. We know how to take a 3-year-old and engage him so he has fun. It's about being fun, and then we know how to look after our participants, our members who just train for a hobby. And then we've got a good strategy for our sort of development of our youngsters coming through. A lot of our youngsters are full-time, so that it's become the norm in Aspire to leave school and just go full-time at the gym, because you can study. So we've got guys travel. There's young Welsh guy, Conor Mackay, flyweight, 5-1, recently fought for the title, been at Aspire 18 months. Lives in the gym, Tyler Derbyshire, real good prospect coming out of SPG Rochdale. He's jumped down to Liverpool now so he can live in the gym. So we've got kids moving to Liverpool, living in the gym. We've got the Mullen brothers, who are big prospects. Both had a couple of setbacks recently, but I know where they're going. They've got their own academy in Bradford now as well, Strike Kings, which is doing phenomenally well. So we have a lot of guys travelling to Aspire because they know there's a method in the madness. We've got structure. And it shows in what we're doing there. Do you know what I mean? So,
and nicely linked to that question, my next one was going to be kind of around the focus on education, employability. Would that you say is linking to what you're creating at Aspire?
Yeah, definitely. So what you got to think about is there's no guarantees in MMA, and rightly so. A lot of parents don't want a 16-year-old leaving school and becoming a fighter. You know, my mum and dad kicked me out when I decided to leave uni and go pro. So I was doing a real estate degree and I had no love for it. Just binned it off. But I went back to uni later on as a mature student and done something I was passionate about. So now we can offer kids 4 pathways: fighting, coaching, university, because it's three A levels equivalent, or you know, helping them build into a career role in the industry like coaching, refereeing, journalism, media. If you think about developing a CV, it's all about trying to look like an industry leader, isn't it? You know what I mean?
So it's giving me MMA university vibes.
That's basically like what we're trying to do, bro.
Sport,
and even now, I look at what's going on in the Middle East, and I'm quite excited about what's going on here, and you know, meeting people all the time. I'm constantly networking. Brilliant. You know, one of the most important things is your network. It's your net worth, isn't it? Yeah. So who knows? Maybe I could, you know, fashion some sort of connection with some people out here that can help us grow what we're doing in Aspire and open more doors for us. So I'm always trying to think.
Making me tingle, mate. It's giving me like, you know, what Manchester City and Burnley do. They've got that university, that partnership, and it's all about football, but not just the actual sport. It's all about everything to do with it. That's the vibe you're giving me right now.
And I'm not gonna lie, bro. not on what I'm telling you now. I've fashioned myself. I've looked at what works in other sports, and that was what my degree made me do. But I've looked at what works in other sports, and we've seen how we can sort of transform that and, you know, adapt it to suit MMA. We've done multiple different things with the Violence Reduction Partnership in Liverpool, where we've gone into schools, delivered all kinds of programmes. Potentially we want to work towards opening an alternative provision as well for 14 to 16-year-old students as well who are being expelled. There's something in London called the Boxing Academy that does something similar. So again, I'm always looking at successful organisations
picking out the best bits
and seeing what we can do for our own development.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. Like I said, I'm getting that tingle. And we've already kind of touched on kind of like the talent of the Mullins brothers. How far do you think the Mullins brothers can go?
Very far. I know they've had a couple of setbacks. Maybe that's our fault for pushing them a little bit too far too soon. So as coaches, it always comes back to the coaches. You know, they've put a lot of faith in us. So we have to be realistic with ourselves as well, and maybe, you know, take that on the chin that we haven't maybe got them the right fights at the right time. But definitely I think those two guys have got a massive future in the sport. So I'm really excited to see what we can do with them in 2024. And listen, sometimes losing a fight, the time to lose them is early on in your career, not late in your career. You look at me, I was 9-0. I lost to Magomedov. That was a title eliminator. The winner was getting Peter Yan. Don't regret taking that fight. Sean Shelby said it's okay, you've got a get out clause for your next fight, so just get a win and you're with the UFC. Yeah. And I lost that fight, and I put that second loss down to a poor weight cut, maybe a lack of discipline, so I was juggling too many hats, and you know, a technical fault with my guillotine awareness and defence as well. So I lost fights at the wrong time. Do you know what I mean? Look at someone like Jack Della Maddalena, 0-2. That guy's on a collision course for the UFC title. So it's not. Liam McCracken lost the fight against Ajush, a really very good fighter on Bellator at the moment. Again, mate, if you watch the fight, it comes down to the last 40 seconds, and Azale has a great flurry, takes the win. But I don't regret that fight for Liam at all, because I believe it created a monster. Yeah. So maybe early on is the right time to take a couple of risks. Go back to the drawing board. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you build on that, don't you?
And it sounds like your camp, iron is sharpening iron by the sounds of it.
That's it, bro.
Great people. Just going to wrap this up with a quick fire round. So you basically, whatever comes to your head straight away, I'm going to give you 2 options. You just go bow.
Yeah.
Like, no thinking about it. So quick fire questions. Here we go. Liverpool FC or Everton?
Everton.
Would you rather win the Premier League or the Champions League?
Premier League.
Wrestling or jiu-jitsu?
Wrestling.
Coaching fighters or fighting yourself?
50-50, in the middle.
Arctic Monkeys or Oasis?
Arctic Monkeys.
Love that. Winning.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times.
On the fence. I'm on the fence.
We don't need to talk about
Left hook from Yaoundé came and landed on him, you know, so